This is a First Defense weather alert.
All right, welcome back. 6:32 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. Sorry about that little technical funkle that we had there, but we are going to continue our severe weather coverage through the afternoon. Here, the severe thunderstorm warning was set to expire at 6:30. The Weather Service has reissued it now for that same area, for this particular same area of storms that we've been watching over the past 15-30 minutes here. These are all storms that have fired out ahead of a lake breeze boundary that is moving on through. So the newest severe thunderstorm warning will now go until 7:40, until 7:15, and they're still carrying the tornado possible tag along with it. And the reason for that is there has been signs, again, if you were watching earlier, there were signs that there were some very broad rotation areas that were coming through the region. And so even though on the current velocity scans we're not seeing much in the terms of any tornado potential, they are keeping that in the warning as this cluster of storms is now moving into that far northwestern corner of Cattaraugus County. So understand, this is not a tornado warning as of yet. The same thing we talked about, I don't think what we've seen so far kind of warrants a tornado warning. We're not seeing anything that would give the idea that there is a tornado that is there. They're just watching for the potential that a tornado could be possible as these storms continue to move to the northeast. Now, what we're watching right now as these storms are moving on through, mainly some strong winds will mainly be the issue with this particular segment of storms as we continue to go through. And these storms are going to continue moving towards the northeast. And as these storms move to the east, they could produce damaging winds. Okay, so Mitch and Sean are on their way to intercept this storm coming up into Cattaraugus County, and they have reported some tree damage near Cassadaga. Could very well have been the case. And again, we have been talking all day long. And again, we've been talking all day long about how these storms were going to wait until the very last minute to get going here. And I think we may have lost Mitch's live stream. So let's go back. And again, once you get out into the rural countryside, you lose data, and not sure what happened to the radar again. Can we put the reflectivity? Thank you very much. The reflectivity back on. And you can see here that this is what Mitch and Sean are coming up to intercept. This particular storm coming up into the Cattaraugus County. That is what we are going to be watching as this storm continues moving towards the northeast. Want to take you very quickly. Let's swing the radar back down to the southern section of the southern tier. That gets confusing. Southern tier, because we do have showers and thunderstorms now moving into Jamestown, the far southern part of Chautauqua County, going into the southern part of Cattaraugus County near Randolph. This is all coming out of Warren County, moving towards the northeast. None of this is severe at this moment, but we are going to watch and see what happens here as things continue to unfold here through the afternoon hours. This is a live look outside from the HD News Now cam, which is right outside of our building here. And you can see the trees blowing there. The wind has really started to pick up. And the wind gusts in this particular thunderstorm complex could be around 30 to 40 miles an hour. Definitely could be possible. You can see the rain falling there. And again, this is from downtown Jamestown, from the Spain building downtown, or the Willow Bay Commerce Center downtown, which is where our studio is located. And this is a live look outside from the HD News Now cam. And again, the wind pretty much tells the story there. The camera kind of tells you the story there of kind of what's going on there. But understand, nothing severe across the southern section of the region right now. And that is so far so good for that particular area. But the main concern that we are watching is this particular cluster of thunderstorms up here in that basically if you're in Chautauqua County, that northeastern section from South Dayton back up to Forestville, the storms have now moved off to the east. So basically we can trim Chautauqua County out of this severe thunderstorm warning. This is now a Cattaraugus County issue, and you can see all the lightning strikes embedded within here. So there's no doubt that this could very well be the strongest storm on the board. And again, earlier today, the National Weather Service office in Buffalo stated that this particular storm, the storm top was 50,000 feet, 50,000 feet. And that's a very tall thunderstorm. That means the thunderstorm extends 50,000 feet up into the atmosphere. And that's a pretty tall storm when you get up to 50,000 feet. Definitely the severe weather threat is enhanced because of the high storm tops today. So again, all this activity is moving toward the northeast. So basically from South Dayton right over Gowanda is where this is going. Then this is going to be heading to the northeast towards Arcade up in Wyoming County. And the town of Cattaraugus, which sits in Cattaraugus County, or Springville as well, Cattaraugus and Cattaraugus County. So all of this is going to be moving towards the northeast. And if we can put the hail threat product back on here, Andrew. Wanted to see what kind of hail we have here. And yeah, right over Cattaraugus is likely going to be the strongest hail. And we're looking at, again, about less than, an inch. But understand, this is radar estimated hail. This is a product that the radar has that uses a whole bunch of algorithms to try to determine the hail size. So just because you see 1 inch hail here does not necessarily mean you're going to see 1 inch hail at the ground. It's possible, but you're likely going to see something a little bit less than 1 inch hail. But this is why it's called estimated, because the radar really doesn't know. It's trying to estimate using a bunch of mathematical algorithms. This is the, boy, it's pouring there. This is the Randolph Peaches and Cream Skycam. And boy, the rain is really coming down there. And understand, the cluster of showers and thunderstorms moving on through the southern part of Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties coming up towards Randolph. This section here is non-severe at the moment. It could strengthen, so that's something we have to keep an eye on. But so far, all of this activity to the south is sub-severe. So you're going to see heavy rain, possibly frequent lightning. All that is possible, but understand, heavy rain and lightning doesn't make a thunderstorm severe. To be severe, a thunderstorm has to produce winds in excess of 58 miles per hour or greater, hail 1 inch in size or larger in diameter, that's the size of a quarter, or a tornado. That is what makes a thunderstorm severe. Heavy rain, lightning, none of that stuff is defined as severe. Yes, you have heavy rain and lots of lightning in a severe thunderstorm, but per definition, that is not what makes a thunderstorm severe. So that is overlooking Wheaton Park, and that's where that Skycam is located. And again, so it's this cluster of storms moving on through right down in here. Non-severe, so understand there's no severe warnings out for that particular thunderstorm complex because there's nothing there that suggests those storms are severe. It's all of this mess up here in that northeast, that northwestern quadrant of Cattaraugus County extending into the northern section going up into Wyoming County. It's this whole mess right up here. You can see all those lightning strikes around the town of Cattaraugus. So that's where the strongest activity likely could be. Let's put the velocity back on here and just see if we can spot any area of rotation. I've been looking at it on my radar system that I have over here, and really not much. We're not noticing really anything that stands out that could be a screaming message that there could be some rotation there. But the Weather Service does still continue this as a tornado possible, which means that a brief spin-up tornado could be possible. And understand, these small spin-up tornadoes, they're very hard to warn for because these small spin-up tornadoes, they get down and, they last for 30 seconds. And by the time you or I see one, we report it. The Weather Service works up the warning. The warning goes out. The tornado's gone. everybody's on television for 45 minutes cutting off programs. You're getting mad because you can't watch your favorite programs and there's nothing going on. So, we can't warn for small itty bitty tornadoes. So that is why the Weather Service has now put tornado possible tags into certain severe thunderstorm warnings where those kind of tornadoes are possible. And I think that's a good call. Looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for this southern branch. And again, this is what we had just talked about, how we had to watch these for the fact that these storms could strengthen. And it looks like they're also putting a tornado possible tag on this as well. So there's a new severe thunderstorm warning, which now includes basically that western and south section of Chautauqua County extending into Cattaraugus County. So this is going to get confusing because we've got two warnings working here. But the southern orange polygon you see here is the new severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 7:30 this evening. You can see the Weather Service is calling for a maximum hail size of 1 inch and the wind speed maximum around 60 miles an hour. The other severe thunderstorm warning is for that northwestern section of Cattaraugus. This end of Chautauqua County, forget about it. The storms are now into Cattaraugus County, so we can chop that end of Chautauqua County off. But for that northwestern section of Cattaraugus County, going up into the northern section, that far northern section going up into Wyoming County, that is the initial severe thunderstorm warning. This is the new warning that's been initiated for these thunderstorms that are moving on through. Notice all the lightning strikes here coming across Wattsburg here from this line of storms coming in near Clymer. And so that is very concerning when you start seeing all those lightning strikes. And so again, that could be a sign. And again, these storms are coming out of Erie County, Pennsylvania. That tan box you see there, that tan polygon, is a special weather statement. And that is a warning, not really a warning. It's a statement that the Weather Service issues when there could be strong thunderstorms that are not yet severe. It's kind of a odd wording, special weather statement. Hopefully in the next couple of years we can get rid of that terminology and come up with something new, but that's another argument for another day. But that's what that is, a special weather statement. Then we have that orange polygon, which is the new severe thunderstorm warning for that southern section of Chautauqua County, and then going out into that far southwestern section of Cattaraugus County. So this is kind of what's going on right now. And again, the Weather Service has put, once again, a tornado possible tag on this southern section of storms as well. Simply for the fact that there could be, again, the same thing that we've talked about, a brief spin-up tornado that could occur within these line of storms. So again, this is the main cluster of storms coming out of Erie County, then coming up into that western section of Chautauqua County. So basically from Clymer, Sherman, Chautauqua Lake, all of the communities around Chautauqua Lake, that would include Mayville, Greenhurst, DeWittville, all the communities that surround Chautauqua Lake, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning. And so that is what we have going on there. And if we can do I'm going to test you here, Andrew. Can we do a storm track on this? Maybe do a storm track to kind of pull some of the data out and kind of show you kind of what's going on here. So, this is the main cluster of storms that we're going to watch for. But again, all these thunderstorms could very well be severe here. And so this cluster of storms here is coming out of Warren County, of Erie County, Pennsylvania. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to step off the wall very quickly, and I am going to do a storm track on this as well. And so again, this cluster of storms coming out near Wattsburg and Sherman could very well have the potential to produce straight line winds. So it's moving pretty much to the east. So we're going to pull this storm track out a little bit, moving more to the east northeast. at this particular instance. And based on this particular storm track, what we're looking at is this particular thunderstorm could very well wind up just passing, but the core of it could likely pass downtown Jamestown. But you see the estimated times of arrival here. Now understand, when we show this, that does not mean you wait until the very last second to do something. That means that this is an estimated time based on radar data. It uses the storm motion to try to determine the future path of where this is going to go. So you can see here the radar system is estimating the town of Chautauqua at 6:57. So that means if you're at Chautauqua Institution, should you wait until 6:57 to do something? No. You should be doing something now. Don't wait until the very last second to do things. You can see here that the system is projecting the storm will hit Lakewood at 7:05, and the same thing. Don't wait until 7:04 to do something. Again, these are estimated times, so that's why you plus or minus a couple of minutes. So just, we show that just to show you the storm track, where it's going, and potentially the times of arrival of where that could be going. So let's take that off, and let's go back to the hail threat. Let's take a look at the hail that could be going on within this storm. And you can see the hail threat product not showing much. Looks like the main action of hail could be coming up near the town of Chautauqua, about a ½ inch worth of hail there. And again, the same thing we've talked about. These are radar estimates. Does not mean that you're going to see a ½ inch hail there. You could see something a little bit less. That's why it's called estimates for a reason. But that's where the main hail core, where the most amount of hail within that storm could be falling. Now this is getting interesting right up here in Cattaraugus County, right here coming up towards Arcade in Wyoming County. We had another storm here just a couple hours ago that came right through this same area that was likely producing very large hail. And you can see again, this storm could very well be producing hail that could be upwards of 1 inch in diameter. And again, doesn't mean you're going to see 1.1 inch hail. It just means that there is the potential for hail that could be upwards of this size. So again, this is moving to the northeast. So Delavan, all of these communities here, Franklinville, Delavan, these are in the hills of Cattaraugus County, going up towards Arcade in Wyoming County. So could be some large hail there. They had other large hail from another storm earlier in the day. And but the main threats with a lot of this is mainly going to be that large hail threat along with the damaging wind gusts. Looks like Jackson Hickey is at Cassadaga Valley High School on Route 60. And he is with Mitch Billinger, and that's the video you see in that other box on the right-hand side of your screen. And they are pretty much in a safe spot to try to watch these storms kind of come in. And you can see those very low cloud bases coming on in there. And so again, this is at Cassadaga Valley High School on Route 60. If you ever take Route 60 to go to Fredonia or go up to Buffalo, you pass by the Cassadaga Valley High School, and that's located right now. This is Mitch Billinger and Jackson Hickey. They're both out. They are storm chasing together in the same vehicle, and that is where they are at right now. This is a live video coming from them right now. And so again, they're kind of right in here watching the core of this particular storm on the northern end of this particular storm right here. This is where they're at, looking back up into that particular thunderstorm complex to see if we can see anything as it kind of crosses again back up into Cattaraugus County. This is a live look from the Skycam at Finley Lake, and you can see the rain coming down, there, the trees blowing again, giving you the idea of the wind gusts there, along with the rain that is falling. And so again, the same thing we've talked about, heavy rain, gusty winds, definitely likely within these storms. Does not necessarily, heavy rain does make a storm severe by definition. We had talked about that. But you can see the trees moving there along with the rain coming down at Finley Lake there. And they are in the core of some of this other activity. This is the Skycam at Lakeside Park, and you see the Chautauqua Bell sitting right back there. That's where it's docked at the Lakeside Park in Mayville. And Mayville not getting any rain as of yet. It still looks dry, although the pavement is wet. But so far, they're in a break, but they've got some of that thunderstorm complex that is coming across Chautauqua Lake. And I don't know if we have, this would be an interesting vantage point, the Chautauqua Lake, thank you very much, the Chautauqua Lake Association Skycam. If we have that, that might be a good camera to take probably in another 5-10 minutes. That would be a very interesting look to see what we can see. Now, unfortunately, as the storm gets closer to Lakewood, we're probably going to see a lot of gray. And that's what you see, heavy rain, gray. But it's going to be interesting to see what we capture on the cameras. That's why we have the cameras, to see what we can capture. Okay, so that's the Chautauqua Lake Association. This is in Lakewood, so it's still relatively dry there. Nothing going on there, but you can kind of see those low cloud bases. And this camera is kind of pointing towards the north, overlooking the other side of Chautauqua Lake, towards Celeron. So towards Celeron up in that region. And kind of seeing some of the cloud bases back up that way. You're kind of looking on the other side of the lake. So we're going to keep our eyes on these cameras and see if we can see anything. But again, you see those low cloud bases. A lot of that could be the heavy rain that is falling as well. So here's where we stand. We have these severe thunderstorm warnings in place for that southwestern corner of Chautauqua County and that northwestern corner of Cattaraugus County. This warning here, we can trim Chautauqua County out of that warning. They're likely going to update pretty soon to trim this back. But basically, that northern section of Cattaraugus County now is dealing with this mess coming up towards Wyoming County. Then you've got this cluster of storms near Randolph coming out like this. Wouldn't be surprised to see more extensions on this as this continues to move northeast. And again, you can see how these thunderstorms are pretty much lined up from near Clymer on the New York-Pennsylvania line going up all the way towards South Dayton. This is pretty much a broken line of showers and thunderstorms moving on through. And again, you can see all the lightning being produced on those as well. Let's swing the radar down towards French Creek right here. See the little signature right here? Yeah, let's zoom into this right here. I was looking at it on my other radar system that I have here, and again, same thing that we've talked about. This is looking a little ominous. Let's put the velocity on here. And yeah, it's the same thing I was looking at on my system here. This purple area is what's called range folding. It's a very technical term, and I really can't explain it because it would just take too long to explain what it is. But basically, this is an area where the radar beam can't really determine if the winds are inbound or outbound. Remember, a Doppler radar can only see two ways, what's coming ahead of it and what's going away from it. Anything moving perpendicular to the radar beam is equal to 0. So it can't see anything moving perpendicular, but it sees things coming towards itself and things that are going away from the radar beam. So this purple area is what's called range folding. It can't determine if the inbound or outbound, it can't determine if the wind velocities are inbound or outbound. And a lot of that's due to a range issue. Once you get out here, the radar beam gets over 6,000 feet. So, that becomes a range issue when you start dealing with that. But that storm does look a little bit ominous on the reflectivity coming up near French Creek and Clymer. And that camera you're seeing back behind us is the Finley Lake camera. And that camera could have a very good vantage point of this storm as it moves on through. You can kind of see how there's almost evidence of an inflow notch within this thing. And again, we're not entirely sure if there is rotation going on within this because the velocity is kind of muddled because of that range folding. But you can see here that this is going to take it on a track like this. So that camera is going to be in a prime spot to see anything if we see anything. But understand, a lot of what happens around here, it's rain. So, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But again, the velocity is just too muddled to really see anything, to see if there's anything there. And but the structure on the reflectivity does look ominous, but the same thing, even an ominous structure on the reflectivity doesn't necessarily mean something bad is going to happen. It just is something that you have to look at as you continue. It's just something that we have to keep an eye on as we continue to go through the evening hours here. So this is pretty much now going to be, I think, the main focus probably now for the next couple of minutes is this storm structure. We're going to wait until we get better velocity data to see kind of what's going on within this. Again, it's just too muddled to see anything. And I don't necessarily think we're probably going to get a good velocity signature on this until it gets a little bit closer. Then we'll probably get a little better idea of what's going on if we have any velocity data going on in there. The storm that is coming up into Cattaraugus County, let's swing back up to northwestern Cattaraugus, northeastern Cattaraugus County near East Otto and Delavan. This section of the storm complex right here is now it's moving towards the northeast. So anything behind the town of Cattaraugus. So if you are in the town of Cattaraugus, anything behind, you are not really in this severe thunderstorm warning anymore. We can just chop that off. So basically from here over, you're still under that severe thunderstorm warning, which will go until, I believe the expiration time on that is 7 o'clock, I believe. So 7:15 or 7:15. So they'll likely update this soon to trim that western section back. But again, these storms, again, could be carrying damaging winds, large hail, and there could be a brief spin-up tornado. And again, it's the same we've talked about. Oftentimes during weather coverage, we sound like a broken record because we constantly repeat ourselves, but we have to do that for people who come and go during weather coverage. So, that's something we have to talk about is tornadoes. Severe thunderstorms can and often do produce tornadoes. So we have to, with little to no advanced warning. So that's why we have to, kind of keep an eye out for those, especially on a day like today when the atmosphere is really kind of primed for that. So let's go back down into this storm here coming over French Creek. And even though the reflectivity is still looking a bit ominous, you can still kind of see how it's almost carrying like a kidney bean shape to it. Still looking kind of ominous at this point. The velocity I'm looking at on my radar system over here is still too muddled. Just can't, you can see all that purple area, just range folding, can't see anything. We can't, so again, this is a limitation that we have in our science. Radar can only show us so much. That's why we need storm spotters, people who are down at the ground, who are trained, who can look at this from a safe distance and can tell us what is going on. And, the radar data, the velocity data is just way too muddled. You just can't tell what's going on in this purple area here. So again, that's the range folding issue. And we're just going to have to wait for a few more scans for this particular segment of the storm complex to get a little bit closer to the radar to see kind of what it comes up with. But right now, that is just a very, very noisy velocity signature. And just for the fun of it, Andrew, let's put the debris tracker on here, the correlation coefficient, just for the fun of it. I guarantee you it's not going to show much. But there's nothing really here that would indicate this. And this is a relatively new product that we have off the dual polarization products off the radar. This is called correlation coefficient. And the way that this product works is it takes all of the returned echoes from the radar beam, it puts it in a bin, and it analyzes everything. And if it sees something that doesn't correlate with all the other echoes, it puts a negative value on it. And when you see a negative value on the correlation coefficient that matches with a velocity signature, that is what we call a TDS, a tornado debris signature. That means something from below is taken aloft, and we just don't see that right now. Of course, it's really hard to spot if there is one because there is just no velocity signature to really match up with. to see what is going on. So again, that's just a product that we have. Just wanted to throw that on just to see if we have anything, but again, nothing really there. So again, notice how the storm continues to show that kind of kidney bean shape to it. And if you're looking for any sort of an inflow notch, it'd be right back down in here is likely where that inflow notch is, where the winds are flowing back up into the storm. And again, that live box that you see behind me, that is the Finley Lake Skycam, and this is going to be in a very prime location to see anything if there's anything there. And but understand, the problem is it's now 7:02 and sunset comes up in about an hour and 40 minutes from now. So the problem is we're going to get into light. We're going to get into nightfall. We're losing our light. And this is not good for storm spotting because you have to wait for lightning flashes to illuminate things, and it just gets tough when you're trying to spot these things at night. But we're going to work with every inch of, with all the daylight that we have, we're going to work with it and see what we can have. So that's why these cameras are very valuable, because it helps us see what's going on. But again, the reflectivity still looking a bit ominous at this point. Definitely doesn't look as ominous as it did, which is good. But that's really the main storm of concern that we've been focusing on it, because that storm very well could be carrying the potential for, if nothing else, strong damaging winds. Understand, that's a big threat with this as well, is strong damaging straight line winds. And it doesn't matter if damage comes from a straight line wind or a tornadic wind, it doesn't matter, So that's why you need to know that it's coming. Not seeing anything on the Weather Service chats. Again, we're scanning our National Weather Service chat sessions here. Not seeing anything in regards to any update on a watch, on a warning. Speaking of a watch, let's put the watches and warnings back on here, Andrew, back behind me. And what you see back behind me is the watch warning map. So all the counties that are shaded in pink, that is a severe thunderstorm watch. And that goes until 10 o'clock tonight. That was issued earlier this afternoon. This watch has been in effect for several hours, and it will stay in place until 10 o'clock this afternoon. So all the counties shaded in pink. That would be Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, Allegheny, Warren counties. Now, Erie and Crawford County was never in a severe thunderstorm watch. The National Weather Service in Cleveland opted not to include them in the watch simply due to the uncertainty of the lake breeze boundary. But where the showers and thunderstorms have flared and where they have become severe so far, definitely that watch has definitely been a right call with all the areas that have been impacted so far by the severe weather so far today. That watch has verified, and that will continue in effect until 10 o'clock. So what we have right now is the reflectivity display on the Y view. So again, this is the original severe thunderstorm warning, this polygon here, that includes that northeastern section of Cattaraugus County. This will be expiring in about 10 minutes. It's 7:05, so in about 10 minutes, this thunderstorm warning, this initial warning, will likely be allowed to expire. This is the second warning that we've been focusing on, and this is coming up towards Jamestown. So let's zoom back into this. This is our main storm of concern because, again, there has been a very ominous look on the reflectivity display. And again, still looking a bit ominous as it comes over Panama. And this is going to be moving like this. In fact, Andrew, if we can pull a storm track out and kind of see the new approximate arrival times, if we can do that, that'd be fantastic. Just to kind of see the approximate arrival times of some of these storms. And again, it's kind of moving to the northeast. So let's pull it out to about, what's the storm motion on this? Storm motion is 41 miles an hour. So let's pull it out a little more, go all the way out until that says about 41 miles an hour, and just keep going as far out as you can there. And that'll give us an idea of the times here. So this is an estimated time of arrival based on the storm segment. So again, the radar is suggesting 7:09. This will likely start to impact Lakewood. So, the thing we've talked about, should you wait until 7:09 to do something? No. you should be doing something now. You should be getting indoors. You know, if you're outside, you should be getting indoors into a safe structure. And so again, the radar estimating here may hit the city of Jamestown at about 7:16 this evening. And again, you know, the same thing we've talked about. These are estimated arrival times. You know, that's based on storm motion. So don't take those to the bank, but that gives you an idea of the storm motion and kind of where this is going to go. And ultimately, if this segment continues to remain severe, wouldn't be a bit surprised if this severe thunderstorm warning gets extended to include more of Cattaraugus County as it continues to move to the northeast. We wouldn't be a bit surprised if we happen to see that. But that'll be a little while down the road to see what happens with that as that continues on. This is one of the Lakewood sky cams, and boy, that is an ominous looking sky back there. And you can pretty much almost see that's pointing westward over Walmart, that is overlooking the Chautauqua Mall, so that is pointing westward. And yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, you can see the rain falling right back in there, and that's a pretty good shot right back in there because you can see that, and I don't know if you can key me up behind this or not. I know that's going to make more work for you guys back in the control room. But if you can't key me on it, that's okay. But you can kind of see that heavy rain falling back behind there, that is where we have the potential for that is where we have that heavy rain that is falling right now overlooking Lakewood. And you can see all that heavy rain and also those ominous skies as well. Hello there. Got to see the little magic behind the scenes. This is what I look at back behind me, green wall. Thank you very much. So that's the magic of how this works. It's just a green wall. That's what I stand in front of. So that's the magic for you, a little behind the scenes. But yeah, you can see right back in here, this is that rain shaft where the rain is falling right back in here. So all of what you see here is the rain that is coming up on Lakewood. So this is likely, so that's your rain shaft right back in here. So I know I make you guys work hard back there in the control room, but that's why the people in the control room get paid the big bucks. Let's go back to the radar, and you can see that this line of, so they've updated the severe thunderstorm warning to now take out that western section. So it's basically from this line further to the northeast. You can kind of see where this line of storms is going. And you can see here coming right up on top of Chautauqua Lake and Asheville right now coming up towards Lakewood. There's the new radar scan right now, and showing you that these storms are kind of moving like this towards the right. They're almost taking almost a right turn, which would indicate that we would have more of a, they're moving more to the right of the mean flow, which is to the northeast today, but it almost looks like these are almost taking a turn to the east, more due east, more to the right. So that would be interesting to see what happens with that. But yeah, you can almost see how the line almost has a bowing segment to it. You can see how the line almost looks like a bow-shaped echo. That's what we call a bow-shaped echo, because it looks like an archery bow. And that's why we call it that, because it looks like a bow, and that very well could be where the damaging winds are occurring. Let's put the wind threat product on here and show you kind of possibly the maximum wind gusts here. And I know this product has been very temperamental today, but if it won't load, that's okay. I know this product, the data that drives this product has been very temperamental today, and that's just how it is with technology. But this is pretty much, again, you could be dealing with wind gusts possibly upwards of 50 to 60 miles an hour as this line segment comes on through. And you can see that the motion is going to take this pretty much almost towards the city of Jamestown, pretty much from downtown. But I think the main core of it will likely pass to the north of downtown near the airport. And, you know, we're still going to be left with that straggling section as it continues to move really more due east now. It kind of looks like now over the last couple of radar scans that the motion on this is now more turned to the right, which would indicate due east instead of northeast, which is the main storm motion today. So we're going to keep our eyes on that and see what happens there. That's the Chautauqua Lake Association Skycam, and you can see the rain falling back in there, and I'm pretty certain that that's the rain shaft. You can see that right back in there. The velocity data Still is muddled across that western section, but we are getting at least a little bit better velocity signatures from Bemis Point down to Panama. There's a little better radar coverage there, but again, nothing showing signs of rotation, which would indicate a possible tornado issue. This is more of a straight line wind issue, and that is definitely what we are going to be dealing with through the afternoon hours. And you can see here that yeah, this is the base velocity radar image, and you can see there's nothing really in here. This is that range folding issue still, but now since the storms are getting more closer out of that range folding, we're getting a better look at the velocity data. And again, there's nothing in here that would suggest there's rotation, which is good. This is more of a sign of strong straight line winds. That is mostly what we are dealing with this particular instance here. And so that's basically what we have here. Let's put the reflectivity display back on. And again, you can see here that this, again, is a Boeing-shaped line of strong to severe storms. But notice how the lightning counter has gone down. 12 strikes over the past 10 minutes. That's a 10-minute interval and 12 strikes. So that's good. The lightning count is possibly going down, which could be a sign that these storms could be potentially weakening. So that could be a good thing. So we'll just have to keep our eyes on that. If the lightning decreases, that could be a sign that the storms are starting to weaken a little bit. So that is the good news with that. This severe thunderstorm warning for that northern section of Cattaraugus County is going to continue for about 2 more minutes. The Weather Service is likely going to allow that to expire, or at the very least, they're going to expire it, or they're going to extend it to include Wyoming County and portions of Allegheny County. That's probably more than likely what they are going to do with that particular. Hello there. Andrew, you just got on television. And so you can see there that that's likely what they're going to do with this section. They'll likely reissue it and extend it further out to the east. But this is going to be our main concern here for Chautauqua County. These storms moving over here. This is Mitch and Jackson. They are coming back into Jamestown. They are on their way back into town right now. And so again, they're going to be trying to intercept these storms as it comes on in. And again, notice that Boeing-shaped echo right in there. Again, that is continuing to show signs that could be some damaging straight line winds that could be occurring within this storm, even though the lightning counter, the lightning strike total has seemed to have gone down in this particular cluster of storms. You know, we still could be dealing with damaging wind gusts, potentially upwards of, 50, 60 miles an hour. So that still is possible. And again, the storm motion on this is more interesting. They're kind of more taking on more of an eastward track. The storm motion today has been towards the northeast. So now they're moving more due east. So likely these storms are moving out ahead of the mean flow, which has been to the northeast. So this could be a very interesting storm to watch here. Now on top of Lakewood, Chautauqua Lake, continuing to move pretty much due east now. So basically, that's why the severe weather polygons, that's why they fan out in the long run. And that's why they cover such a large area. Reason for that is because of unknowns in the longer ranges. Yeah, there's the Lakewood Skycam, and it is just pouring right there from, basically, they're right on top of that particular cell right there. And man, it is just pouring right there in Lakewood. And so that is where that particular thunderstorm complex is continuing to move to basically due east towards Jamestown's direction. If we can put the Chautauqua Lake Association Skycam back on here. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much the same thing I talked about. Now we're getting into this issue where now we're getting into the heavy rain. Now all you're going to see is gray. But you can see the rain falling here. So this is pretty much what you see here around here. This is not Kansas. This is not Oklahoma. We don't have these thunderstorms and tornadoes that are dry. We don't have these around here. We get a lot of precipitation. Most of our tornadoes are rain wrapped, which means you can't see it. The rain totally obscures the tornado, so you can't see it. So that's why storm spotting around here is so difficult. But you can see the rain coming on in now at the Chautauqua Lake Association, which is located in Lakewood. And this whole line of storms, this line segment is basically moving due east towards downtown Jamestown. And that is the thing here. Yeah, this is the HD News Now cam, and you can see the clouds. Yeah, it's getting darker here. Well, it's getting darker for two reasons. One, it's 7/16. So it's naturally going to get darker, but also you can see the dark clouds overhead. That is where a lot of this now is coming in from the west. You can kind of follow those clouds moving to the west, moving like this towards the east. So that is pretty much the storm motion on this, moving more due east. So let's go back to, okay, yeah, this is Mitch Billinger and Jackson Hickey. Yeah, they're in the core of that, and you can see the rain on their camera lens as here. This is the wind threat product, and you can see here, could be estimating here up in that core segment, upwards of potentially 50, what does it say, 51.3 miles an hour. My monitors are so small, and my old man eyes don't work like they used to. But you can see here that, again, you know, we still could be dealing with strong winds here, and the same thing that we had talked about, potentially these storms have started to weaken off a little bit, which is good news because the lightning counter has really gone down over the last several minutes. We've seen the lightning kind of go down. And you can see here about 26 strikes. So that, and again, you know, that could be a sign that this could be in a weakening phase, which is good. We hope it weakens and we hope it goes away. But we hope that's the case. Well, we don't really want it to go away because we need the rain, but we hope the severe weather threat goes away is what I meant to say. So that northern section of that severe thunderstorm warning gone, it's out of here. 7:15, it's out of here. No more. So likely that storm segment has also started to weaken off as well. Again, that's Mitch and Jackson. They are coming back into Jamestown and see all that heavy rain coming down as well. So that's pretty much what we're working. We're just working this one severe thunderstorm warning for the western and central portion of Chautauqua County for these storms that are coming out, for this cluster of storms that have came out of Erie in Crawford counties and are now coming up towards the city of Jamestown. So again, you know, we'll likely get a heavy downpour if nothing else, which is good. We need this rain. Again, you know, if you've been following along on our social media pages, or if you've been watching our, you know, our newscasts at noon every weekday, you know that we've been talking about this. We're in a hole, 4 inches in a hole for rainfall for the season. So this rain is well needed. And we talked about this, how today was likely going to be our best chance to see any meaningful rainfall that could put a little bit of a dent into our rainfall deficit. So what you see here is that line of showers and thunderstorms that are coming on in. And this is now, the core of it is moving the north of downtown Jamestown. Downtown Jamestown is right here where it says Jamestown, right there. That's the downtown area. The main core of this is actually pulling more to the north, going up towards Gary and then ultimately Falconer. Kennedy is going to be next in line for this particular thunderstorm. And then it's going to likely continue to move to due east or just northeast, likely clipping Randolph and areas to the north. So this is our main line of concern. Let's put back on the velocity just for the fun of it. I've been looking at it over here and not much going on within that particular segment. And yeah, there's really nothing going on here. Again, no evidence of a tornado. And again, you know, what we're looking for is that rotation. We don't see it. That's good. So we don't have any tornado indication. Got a report of half-inch worth of rain in Randolph with the last thunderstorm complex that came through. Very well possible. Actually, if we could put the rainfall rate product on here, this will give us an idea of what is coming down in terms of rainfall. And yeah, right in here, when you see the yellows, that could be upwards of over 1 inch, 2 inches, an hour. Rainfall rates, yeah, you can see there maybe upwards of 3 inches an hour. So, there's no doubt that there's heavy rainfall falling within here. And so that is also going to be a main threat with these storms as well, with the heavy rain, which quite frankly, the heavy rain is well needed. The same thing that we talked about, 4 inches in a hole for a rainfall deficit for the summer season. Hey, we need some of this rain, so we'll take it. So yeah, you can see that heavy rain definitely is going to be possible with this storm. Pardon me. With this storm, as it continues to move more east, with the main segment of that storm moving just to the north of downtown Jamestown, likely clipping Ellicott, the town of Ellicott, just to the north. And there's the newest radar scan on First Defense Doppler showing you pretty much right here the core of this. So basically, this has been a case for the city of Jamestown. Jamestown has kind of been split between all these storms. We really haven't had a good downpour, but the good news is the Jamestown airport probably got a downpour. I'll check the data here in a second, but that's where the official weather records are. So, hey, if the Jamestown airport got a downpour, that's great. But my rain gauge is still probably empty, if not very little. So, most of us, that's probably the way it's going to go. But it's been hit or miss a lot with these showers today. And the good news is the lightning detection has really started to go down on this. So it could be the fact that these storms are possibly starting to weaken off. Again, as we're losing our daylight, we're starting to lose the heating of the day. So these storms very well could be starting to weaken off. And again, this is a live stream coming from Mitch Bellinger and Jackson Hickey. They are on their way. Looks like they're in Falconer, and they are on their way back into Jamestown. And this is mainly that main storm of concern now, just to the east of Jamestown. Okay, they're on Main Street in Jamestown. Yep. The old Holy Cross family school right there. And so I just got confused there with that red light because I'm like, where were they? But yeah, they're in the city now. And you can see here that this is where the main issue is right here with this storm, just to the north and east of downtown Jamestown, moving out towards Falconer, Kennedy, and then ultimately this is going to be continuing out into Cattaraugus County, out towards Randolph. Now, good news is the storm does not look as intense as it once did. The same thing we've been talking about. These storms likely are starting to weaken off, which is good. We don't want these thunderstorms to be around forever, at least with the severe potential. So that is the good news with that. Let's put the hail threat product on here just to see what the estimated hail size is, if any. And is there no hail, or is that just a data? Okay, so maybe that's a data. Yeah, it looks like maybe that's a data issue. Okay, yeah, right here. So if there's any hail, it's probably right here. In fact, I think this is an old radar scan. So maybe this hail is now more up in here. I think that's an old radar scan. So we'll take that off, and we'll put the reflectivity data back on there. So more than likely that hail would be right about in here. That's an old radar scan. So the hail would be right up in here, and any hail would be very small in diameter. And again, the same thing we've talked about, even the hail values have gone down. And even the storm, if we can time lapse this, Andrew, if we can just put this in a lapse, just in a time lapse, because, it really looks like the storm is really starting to fade away on the latest radar scan. You can see, there it is. Watch it pop up. And watch it just kind of almost just like it's trying to fade away. So I think what's happening here is the storm is starting to encounter more stable air, and the storm is now trying to just fade away, which is good. We don't want these storms to hang around all day long. So there is a high potential that these storms warning could very well, let's see, the warning is set to expire at 6:30. That's another 5 minutes. So my gut opinion, they're likely not going to extend this out into Cattaraugus County simply just because that storm does not look impressive at all. I think it's just being ripped apart by more stable air. And even the lightning has gone down, the hail potential has gone down, the wind threat has really gone down. So I think the storm is just starting to die off, which is good news. Robert Hamilton, who's a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Buffalo, puts in our chat that the air has likely been worked over, which is the cause for the notable drop in storm heights and lightning production during the past 15 minutes across the southern tier. So basically, it's the same thing we've been talking about, how these storms are likely just being ripped apart by the more stable air. In fact, here's the wind threat product here, which tries to estimate the potential wind gust. And yeah, less than 50 miles an hour. Again, maybe upwards of 50. That might be a bit excessive. And it looks like Mitch is pulling right up in front of our building. So we'll need to have somebody to go let Mitch. So, yeah, we'll have to have somebody have them go down and let them in. But parking right out in front of our building. Love it. So you can see here that this storm is now starting to really weaken off. We're going to stay here until the warning expires until 7:30. The warning is set to expire at 7:30. And we're just going to stay here until the warning expires. And just simply because the warning is going to stay up. So this is pretty much what we have right here. So this is the little lone segment of that severe thunderstorm, and it's not really severe anymore. The winds have gone down, and the hail threat has really gone down. And you know, there's not much indicating that there's much going on within this storm. And the main core of this has really moved just to the north and east of Jamestown. But understand, there's still heavy rain falling in here. Again, you saw that rainfall potential, that rainfall rate product could be over 2-inch an hour rainfall rates. But understand, you know, heavy rain does not make a thunderstorm severe. You know, we've talked about this. What makes a thunderstorm severe is wind gusts 58 miles an hour or greater, hail 1 inch in diameter or larger, or a tornado. That is what makes a thunderstorm severe, not heavy rain, not lightning, not any of that. And it's mostly just a wind gust or a heavy rain threat. And so that is pretty much what we have going on right now. Extend this. If they were to extend it, it would likely to include basically now Cattaraugus County. Chautauqua County is almost out of it. It's now passing Kennedy right now, and it's going to be moving into Cattaraugus County in a minute or two. So if they were to extend this, it would include that northwestern part of Cattaraugus County if they were to extend, but my gut opinion, they're not going to. We'll just wait and see what. I don't believe they're going to, simply just the fact that everything has really came down. The lightning has came down, the strong winds have came down, and but the rainfall is still pretty heavy here. So, you know, that still could be a potential threat over the next 20 to 30 minutes as this continues to move basically due east to just to the northeast will likely be the main threats here. So in 1 minute, this severe thunderstorm warning will be off the board, and once it goes off the board, we'll just do a wide view and just reassess of what goes on here. So basically, what's happening right now, this severe thunderstorm warning you see here, this orange polygon, is going to be off the board in about 60 seconds. And that's pretty much going to be it for the southern tier. Now, we still do have another round of storms that could come in a little bit later tonight. The thing we have to watch for, and there it is, 7:30, it's off the board. So there is no more severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the southern tier right now. But we're still dealing with potentially some heavy rain, some brief gusty winds, and maybe some small hail. But understand, these severe thunderstorm watch, the counties that you see here shaded in pink, those are the counties under a severe thunderstorm watch. That goes until 10 o'clock tonight. There could be another round of showers and thunderstorms that could move in this evening. And if those storms move in, the question is, could they tap into any more energy, and could those become strong to severe? My personal opinion, kind of looking at things right now, my gut opinion says this is likely it. I think what's happened here is a lot of these storms have tapped into the energy that we've had in the atmosphere. So if any storms with the cold front that's going to move in, notice the cold front is still over Michigan. I mean, it hasn't cleared Michigan yet. So there's still a long ways to go for this cold front to reach us. And that cold front's going to bring us much cooler air for tomorrow and for the next couple of days. So I think you'll enjoy the kind of the break from the muggies. But you can see the severe thunderstorm watch actually being cleared from counties almost to near Pittsburgh, clearing that line. So with the cold front, showers and thunderstorms are going to reactivate again overnight tonight. The main question is, are they going to become strong to severe? My gut opinion says probably not, simply because the atmosphere has already been worked over by this line of storms. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But the watch continues until 10 o'clock. Probably might be canceled a little bit before then, but we'll have to wait and see. So for as of now, there is no severe thunderstorm warnings on the board for any part of the southern tier or Warren County. We do notice another thunderstorm complex coming up towards Warren. We'll keep our eyes on that, but again, if that likely comes up, it'll likely skirt Warren and then possibly move into Cattaraugus County if it survives and if it continues on a northwestern track. So as of right now, we have no warnings in effect. We are going to go off the air, but again, if coverage needs be, we'll go back on the air again tonight. Again, we're not going anywhere. I mean, we'll be here all night long. Hotel WNY News Now. So for Dakota Hunter, well, I'm Dakota Hunter. For Andrew Stevenson, Jackson Hickey, everybody who's been out today, Mitch, Sean, everybody who's been out today, want to thank you for watching our coverage. And of course, if need be, we'll be back on the air through the overnight hours. So make sure you stay tuned on social media. We'll keep you updated on the First Defense weather page on Facebook and also on Twitter. I'm at HuntersWX, HUNTERSWX on Twitter. So for now, we're going to go off the air. We're going to return you to regular programming on channel 716 on Roku, which I believe at this hour is a replay of News Now at noon from Friday. I'm not really sure what's on live. I should know this, but I really don't. But whatever's on live now on channel 716, we'll kick you back to regular programming. So keep it tuned to our social media feeds through the overnight hour. Stay safe through the overnight. Have a good night.
This is a First Defense weather alert.